Whoever invented allergies just... Hey everyone, Kyle from Cosplays from Trash, and unfortunately, literally every time it gets warmer, the allergies come out. Or my body can't handle rapid temperature changes. Whatever. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever sneezes that are happening to me will happen to you. Who's excited for this weekend? I am for two reasons. One, we have the Trash After Dark photo shoot being shot with Hut Slayer Leia and Jabba, aka Ryan. On the other hand, we have Sports Ball, and I feel like most of my audience doesn't care about the sports ball, so I'll just say go sports. I want to preface this by saying there's no such thing as a... There's a lot of cosplays, whether you see them or you wear them, you may not like them, and some aren't as technically challenging or as amazing as others. Cosplay is for fun, so it's kind of hard to be bad at having fun. Good and bad are not really the ways to describe how a costume is. Your limiting skills or physical attributes really shouldn't be a factor in, like, are you allowed to cosplay something? Whatever the opposite of gatekeeping is, that's what CFT is about. I mean, our motto is, don't let anyone tell you your cosplays aren't good enough. For example, consider my Zangief. Sure, I look good. Source material, Zangief is a lot taller and a lot stronger than I am, so I don't really look like Zangief. If you think that's good, but if someone's too short to costume something and you give them like lip service about it, you're a hypocrite. That's about the spiciest I'm ever gonna call out somebody. I hate arguing on the internet. I'm just like, I can't do this. I don't know how people argue on the internet. This is more of a self-reflection thing. In creating costumes for myself and working at panels and when I've been judging or, helping with consultations, I kind of came up with a 7-tiered system. Even like really technically not super advanced costumes can still be really good. The term good is going to get thrown around a lot here, even though I'm saying there's not a dichotomy of good and bad. The reason I came up with the system, I guess, 1, it can gauge your skill level. 2, it can help you reflect on what you did well and what you could improve. It can give you realistic expectations. On the flip side, it would challenge yourself. And finally, you can give yourself credit. Like, it's very easy to raise the bar on ourselves where you did something and you're like, that's not super impressive, but it's like, well, sure, it's not the world's best cosplay, but it's pretty impressive. That's on you, / me. I do that. At the learner level, aka level 1, cosplays that are like closet cosplay or you just bought, the only thing you did was put on a wig that you didn't stylize, even the worst costume, whatever that means, if you just put something on, that's in this level. And this is for fun. The novice costumes that I've done are Winnie the Pooh, Robin, Paris Hilton, SpongeBob SquarePants, Genie, Frosty the Swole Man, Cooking Mama, I liked this one a lot, Ellie Sattler, Agent Coulson, Donkey Kong, Bruno, Ivysaur, Pikachu, Professor Birch, and Chuck. While the only bot costume in here was Robin, none of them really involve much crafting. It's mostly just assembling, and again, that's not bad, but in terms of the craftsmanship scale / cosplay scale, whatever we're gonna call it, you're just kind of learning the craft. This is something that doesn't take a lot of experience. You just put on a costume. It doesn't really matter where, you just did it. Like for the Paris Hilton one, I guess I heat pressed HTV on a shirt. That's why it's at the learner / novice level. Level 2 is the Apprentice level, a modicum of more effort or skill adaptation. Dominic the Christmas Donkey, Luffy, Spoink, Wonder Girl, Mokuba, Lucas, Silk, Toad, Lakitu, Dullahan, Spooky Scary Skeletons, The Hood, Bandit Keith, Candace, Raphael, Dr. Mario, Electra, Byron, Team Skullgrunt, Archie, and Nathan Drake. All of the costumes share a similar trait of, I did X on that costume, but the rest of it, meh. Spoink is a pretty good example of this. The ball, the makeup, the clothes, those are just things. I did make the tail and figure out how to attach it to my body and make it stay up and be coiled. So like, I did something. Not necessarily the smoothest tail, it's good and it's a decent execution. I think that there are some level 1 costumes that look better than some of these level 2. That doesn't matter because it really just comes down to what you like. Candace is another good example on here where everything was just clothes. I learned how to make a bow tie and learned how to tie it, and I was like, that's a thing. I did it. I did a thing. I call it the intermediate / seasoned category, whatever. It means you've done a few things before, but I wouldn't necessarily say that some of the skills that you're using are the most expert of skills. Chances are when you do something for the first time, not going to be great. That's just how life works. Once you do it a couple more times, you will no longer feel as panicked about it. Good example is a pattern. That's like a skill that takes more than 10 seconds to learn. So all the costumes at this level were definitely things that I had to put a decent amount of thought in because I've done a lot of trial and error and I can know what works, what doesn't work. Richter, Summer Soldier, Cyclops, Nightwing, Kirby, Joseph the Technicolor Cowboy, Professor Plum, Black Widow, Aaron Fisher, Misa Misa, Tuxedo Mask, Kermit the Frog, Nuktuk, Death, Jubilee, Professor Sada, Bugcatcher, Juggler, Banjo, and Brigitte. The craftsmanship level of both of these were one people are going to like a lot more than the other, and that's okay, and doesn't make either one of them bad. I'll say for the 30th time, just because a costume is at one of these levels, it is no way bad or worse. I mean, things from this level are probably worse in someone's eyes than other costumes that are at higher level. I mean, a really quick example is the hood from level 2. I like that way more than the Nightwing. The Nightwing, I kind of modified a costume and then built the escrima sticks, but like, sure, that was harder to build the escrima sticks, but I think the hood looks better. Every time I say good, better, worse, bad, just put quotes. Just put 5 air quotes around everything. Level 4, I call this kind of a veteran/advanced. Veteran means that you have a lot more confidence in a certain skill. Going back to the pattern making example, I would definitely say that it's not an easy task, and so you're, someone that's seasoned with cosplay, if you can work with patterns. Once you start maybe modifying your patterns or just doing things ad hoc, you know a lot of principles of crafting. You know how to combat things like gravity or things falling apart. You don't necessarily have to do a skill 100 times to get to a veteran status on something, but it really is a, dare I say, proficiency in a craft. Harley Quinn, Darth Pika, Hercules, Magic, Huttslayer Leia, Prince Leia, Drayden, Dakin, Diddy Kong, Yaoyorozu, Ryoma Echizen, Zangief, Scarlet Witch, Bolin, Asuma, Joker, and Crasher Wake. There are skills on here that are relatively intimidating. I mean, take Harley Quinn, the Christmas version, for example. Building a very large hammer that is going to be lightweight and also durable, that is pretty challenging. Even if you've made other props before, the fact that you can take a certain concept that is going to be pretty technically challenging, break it down into smaller parts, and reconstruct it with some level of confidence and kind of show off your progress along the way. Remember at the beginning when I said one of the points was giving yourself enough credit? Some of these costumes, like the Hercules, you're like, oh, you're just wearing leggings and you're not wearing very much and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but I have to give myself credit being able to tackle projects and just do them that are pretty hard. That would be at this level. The entire costume doesn't have to be insanely advanced to get on this echelon. Magic is on here. It's a giant weapon. That's not easy. Prince Leia/Huttslayer Leia, that's on here because you're incorporating a reveal and you're keeping things on and you're fighting gravity. Bowen's on here because that's a really well-made outfit. Go me, that is a very well-made outfit. I can look at Bolin and say, yes, I know how to sew because I can do this. This is where mastery comes in. I call level 5 Technician, level 6 Specialist, and level 7 Artisan. I only have 3 costumes for levels 5 through 7, and they're all level 5. Winter Soldier, Energizer Bunny, and the Cupid version of Hanzo. I would say that once a costume gets to this place, you are confident in explaining how you did it. You are confident in executing some very complicated techniques, feel it at this level. Most of my costumes are going to be in the 3-4 range because I like creating costumes. I would rather not spend 100 hours on every one of my costumes just because sometimes I do like the volume. I want to cosplay so many characters. All 3 of these were pretty technically challenging, took a lot of time, and took a lot of workarounds to get how I wanted them to look. Once a costume is here, it's clear that you're balancing a lot of different skills and mediums and fighting physics and things falling apart along the way. I mean, the Energizer Bunny drum is a great example where that is heavy, and being able to turn a rain barrel into a drum and keep it on and not hurt yourself while doing it, I'd say that you're kind of mastering the techniques of cosplay. To qualify for level 6, you have a almost real life mastery of really knowing how to do things and making them not just props. So for Energizer Bunny, maybe I would have made the shoes in a better way, or the drum could have been functioning. Visually, there may not be a huge difference between 5 and 6. You have a really great costume, and then you add a working drum. In level 7, we always want to, personally, I always want to grow and do better, or do something cooler, try a new technique or something like that. I would say that level 7 is really reserved. A working Iron Man suit. Yeah, that would be level 7. You're not just making costumes. If you build a functioning iron suit, it's are you cosplaying? Or you just built an Iron Man suit? I don't really aspire to do that right now. There are some people that have kind of mastered the art of cosplay and costuming and want to do some pretty extraordinary things. Are those cosplays more valid than the cosplays at the level 1? No. Are they better? What does better mean? Sure, in cosplay contests, you are trying to, quote unquote, make a better costume than other people, but when you're just trying to cosplay and you're not trying to be under the lens of scrutiny, it's why are we calling things better or worse? Who cares? About having fun. One thing that I'm really trying to combat is the whole gatekeeping or clickiness or just comparison of costumes. Just let people put on their silly little costumes and have a good day, okay? It's exhausting. If anyone's ever told you that your skill or execution or body type makes your costume bad or it's not good enough or you shouldn't do it, you do what I do and just ignore them. It's like, what? Why are you picking this fight? Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. I don't like colored food. It bothers me. Is there a thing that, like, when there's a drastic change in temperature, your body is just like, no, congestion time? What do people mean when they say, like, oh, bugs aren't animals? Like, animal is a scientific definition. I'd be fine if all sodas were clear. Who would sue me? Mr. OnlyFans? I don't even have an OnlyFans. Why is there one Skittle on the ground? That's not impressive. I would eat it, but it's right next to the spider trap. This paper thick. Oh, it doesn't go in the spider trap. Unlike vegetable, which doesn't mean anything. I have not been working on a railroad. I should really just hire someone. I look like I've been living in the wilderness for a while. Did y'all see the trade? Luka went to the Lakers? I thought the Giants giving up Saquon was probably the worst thing in the entire world ever for a trade, but I don't really understand the Mavs decision in here. Can you be allergic to moonlight?